Welcome to MTO Sociology. This video is on advertising and sociology. Now, I want you to look at the images on the screen. These are all adverts from the 1950s. I want you to think about what are they selling, and more importantly, how are they doing it, and who are they selling to. So if you apply cages and you think about the different people in 1950s America, because most of these adverts are from America, who are they going to be selling to? Well, quite likely it's going to be the rich, because who can afford a brand new car? Who can afford a brand new Hoover? If you look at the portrayal of most people, they're white, they're affluent, they're middle class. The Nescafe advert stands out because it uses a black man, and the instant coffee idea is a new or newish invention, as is the Hoover. A lot of what's happening in the 1950s ties directly into functionist views. If you think about the family and Parsons and Durkheim and what they're arguing about, the nuclear family or even the cereal packet family, which is a media term in a way, we see this a lot reflected in the advertising world. Now, adverts today, you probably experience in a totally different way to people did in the 50s. Yes, there are still billboards, there are still massive great posters, but a lot of them are electronic now, and they move and they change. And the words used in adverts, you won't see big blocks of text and pictures. You'll see maybe one big image and one big slogan. So think a lot about how you experience adverts. Maybe even while you're here on YouTube, you'll see adverts. That seems to be the place now. People don't watch as much TV. Viewing habits have changed, lifestyles have changed. The place of adverts and the placement of adverts is different too. So whenever you see an advert, start applying cages, start asking, what is it selling, how is it selling it, and who to? Because this will link directly into your modules. Whether it's appealing to women and their domestic role, this makes you a better mother, a better wife. Whether it's appealing to men and kind of their breadwinner role, you can afford this, you need this, this is a status symbol. Think about what it is that's going on here. You'll notice when I talked in the last slide about adverts, I linked it to the middle class specifically, and that is really to do with affluence and the American dream and the ideas. Maybe brings to mind Merton, for example. The middle class, they're aspirational, they have money, they have the desire maybe and the means to buy stuff. So they really are the engine behind consumerism, and that's going to be of interest to Marxists. But if you take Campbell's idea of the romantic ethic, it might explain advertising particularly to us. So it's this idea of emphasizing pleasure and novel experiences. The middle class, they want to be seen as authentic, so they buy stuff to really show off their status, their wealth, and validate their experience, validate their life. But that wears off very quickly. The new car, the new watch, the new jacket, whatever it might be, that's not going to last forever. That's the nature of modern life. So there's something new out there, and advertisers exploit that. Think about how many times you see an advert with phrases like new and improved, better recipe, more powerful, faster, stronger, etc., etc. So Campbell really this idea explains it really nicely, because from there you can build that out. Well, who's not in the middle class? What is their experience of advertising? What is their role? Do they can't afford as much, so they buy less, they're more choosy? Or where does that fit in? Who's advertising to them? What's been advertised to them? So if you think about something as simple as supermarkets are seen usually in terms of budget. There's the supermarkets that are kind of middle of the road, if you like. There are ones that are a bit more exclusive and expensive, and there are ones that are seen as kind of budget for the lower classes. So the products they have are going to be suited to that audience, you could argue, and so are the adverts that come with it and the way they're sold, whether that's on TV, in newspapers, magazines, on the internet, etc., etc. And you could take Campbell's ideas here and really extrapolate that out into all of your modules. Another idea which you may want to think about when you're talking about advertising and the media in general is, which of these media models does it represent or most resemble when people are being advertised at, and when they're being an audience member for an advert, when they're taking notice of it. If you accept it's the hypodermic syringe model, surely we'd all buy everything. We see adverts, we're bombarded with them. Everything that just comes my way, I walk past a billboard and I must buy that product. Is that what the hypodermic syringe model is saying? Maybe it's not that literal, but maybe there are examples where they buy something just because they're so used to it. Do people really like the taste of Coca-Cola, or is it just so established and so well known that it's the go-to drink when they're out and about? Is it use and gratification? Adverts specifically target certain audiences, certain demographics. So do people then justify their spending? Is that tying back into Campbell's idea? Oh, I can afford that new TV because there's a World Cup coming, or there's some kind of reason that I need a new TV, or I can afford that new car because I'm chasing a promotion, or I want to be seen by the boss as someone who's worthy of that higher status. Or is it the two-step flow model? I want to fit in. My friends have bought it, my colleagues have bought it, or I can buy it and show it off to them. Again, adverts have their place in the media, so these models must have their place when it comes to advertising too. So when you see an advert, when you interact with it, when you look at people buying things, maybe you want to go back and apply these models and think about what it tells us about class, about age, about gender, all of the stuff we've talked about previously in sociology. The final thing I want to leave you with is Apaduro's, and I probably not pronounced that right, Apaduro's ideas around imagination and opportunity. Different cultures are going to receive adverts differently, and adverts are going to be different around the world. So you think about globalization from Social Strat, something like McDonald's, they have different menus, different marketing strategies in different territories in different parts of the world to appeal to different people. So what do people believe? How do they see the world? Well, that's going to impact how an advertiser targets them. Because if they're any good with their adverts, they're going to want to reach these people. They're not going to want to switch them off. And then what technology and lifestyle do people have? Where are they going to see this product? How are they going to use this product? How's it going to fit in? And that links to how much wealth and disposable money and income is there in this society. Something like Premier League football shirts, replica kits, they're going to be easier to sell in a more affluent country at a higher price, as anything is. Take any product and think about the price point. You may get the exact same product much cheaper in a much poorer country just so it can sell. So think about what that means, and maybe the price stays the same but it becomes much more exclusive in a relatively poor country or a relatively deprived country. And then think about how diverse society is, because that goes back to the start here. How many different cultures, languages, ideas, mindsets have you got to appeal to as an advertiser? What is your audience? Who is your audience? And how are you going to be successful with that? So again, I hope this makes you really think about advertising and how it links to sociology and all of your modules. Whether that is something straightforward as, an advert for toilet cleaner when we're talking about domestic roles and conjugal roles, or whether it's, more to do with globalization and class and ideas to do with representation in social strat. Because again, this can all play into every part of your exam, every part of your topic. Thank you for listening. I hope this was useful. Again, any questions, email me, come and see me, leave me comments in the classroom or below. Thank you for listening.